welcome to the Claret and Blue podcast live on Friday, the 30th of January, 7 o'clock. I've got the live chat there that we're so early that it says new comments will appear here in real time. There's no one here. Oh, there we go. Ollie. Hello, Ollie.
There we go.
Thanks for joining us, Ollie. It's just the three of us. I'm Dan Rolinson and John Townley. John, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry, Dan, what did you say? We're into Friday now, aren't we? Yeah.
Friday
Wow.
now, yeah.
The Europa League games throw me off a little bit. My week gets completely skewed. So Saturday, yeah, Sunday Brentford. Yeah, looking forward to it. It's no game next week, is there? So
No midweek game, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to feel odd. I don't like that. I like to have lots of games. So yeah, we do of course have deadline day, don't we? So that's next week's event. Merely some hours after the Brentford match. So busy few days ahead, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely. There is lots of people in the chat now, so thanks everyone for joining us. Let's do some shout outs to start. British Mick, hello. Dave, Johnny, Andrew, 38DOR, Aaron, Kevin, Terry Turner, love that, Terry Turner, Linux, Andrew Munro, give us a holler. There you go, Andrew. Jake says, great question, which I was going to include on the post match, but I forgot. He says, how did John celebrate the win in the end then? Now, I was waiting for Kendrick last night for the post-match. Obviously, I wasn't at the game and he was. So the comments were rolling through before we started. People were suggesting things like, "Whoa, John will be buzzing with that tonight. He'll have a bottle of water or two." A few comments started to come through of like what John might celebrate with. Will he open an extra packet of rice? You know, that kind of thing. So how did you celebrate, John? Because you were very keen and very stressful of, we have to get top two, and we have. So are you as happy as I expect?
Yeah. No, I was, to be fair, when we went 2-0 down, I don't know if it was just I wanted to see us in the top two, but I didn't feel that bad when we were 2-0 down. I thought, oh, this is annoying, but you know what? Like, we had the pleasure of being in the top two for a little bit. I don't know if it was just mentally I just wanted to see us there rather than actually have the reward in the end. I don't know. But yeah, obviously it's something I've been pushing for ever since. Well, before the league phase began. Yeah, as soon as that rulebook came out and I had a look around, I thought, hello, that's a nice change. That will definitely do us a big favour, I think. So hopefully it pays off. And yeah, after the game, I was just straight to, like, who can we play? Where could we go?
So what, run us through the options then, because we didn't talk about that last night.
Okay, so yeah, Celta Vigo, PAOK, Lille, or Red Star Belgrade. They've changed their name now, but I don't know how to pronounce it. Lille have got Red Star Belgrade, PAOK play Celta Vigo. So it will be one of those four teams. The odds are that it's probably Lille or Celta Vigo. But as we saw last year with Club Brugge, I didn't expect Club Brugge to be going through. So they did, and we got them.
Yeah. You don't want Lille again, do you?
Lille are a strange one because they've had a decent league campaign so far, not so dissimilar to Lyon. Yet Lyon have hit the same amount of points as what we have in the league phase, and well, Lille obviously haven't. So, yeah, avoid them if you can, I suppose. But if we do get them, you know, so be it. I'm not too fussed who we get, to be honest. I just wanted those second legs at Villa Park. Because even if you do have a bad game away from home and we are a goal or, you know, dare I say, 2 goals down, I back us to still do something at Villa Park. The worst case scenario is what you had against Olympiacos, where you have your bad day and it's at home, and you've got to go somewhere and face the atmosphere. So, yeah, if I could pick, I'd probably say Celta Vigo. PAOK is Athens, I believe.
Yeah,
Vigo, Lille, and Belgrade. So yeah, potentially some nice trips there.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you seen people kind of starting to plot out, and you might be one of them?
Oh yeah,
the final.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, Freiburg and Roma would be the most likely for a quarterfinal. Again, it depends on the draw next month, I think, and then after that, you're looking at possibly like Porto. I think would probably be one of the stronger sides there. Forest play Fenerbahce, which is a good game in the playoffs. That's an interesting one. I fancy Fenerbahce to do something there, but I did see. I don't know how reputable the sources were, but I just saw it on my timeline that Duran might be going to Lille. So we could be meeting Duran again twice. Don't know if you've seen that.
Oh, well, Tyler Mings players, I'm sure, handled him just as well the second time. Yeah. Let's get into the Q&A then. We've got some questions from the mailbag. Now, this used to be a few weeks ago. This was a slot that we did the Brentford fan zone. But of the 12 or 15 comments that we've got here, only 2 or 3 are about Brentford. So this is a transfer chat, bit of Salzburg, bit of Europa League, bit of Unai to Real Madrid, just the general talking points. And then we'll be back at some point on Saturday with the Brentford stuff. So if you're here for our thoughts on Sunday's game, that won't be tonight, but it will be tomorrow. River, first of all, says, love the podcast. I don't often disagree with Dan. However, I have to say that I think last night's game was super important. I've seen a lot of fans say basically that we were in the top 8, so it didn't really matter too much what happened against Salzburg. However, in my opinion, football is all about the small margins. Call me crazy, but I genuinely think the difference between winning and losing the Europa League is having the second leg at Villa Park in the knockouts. I just want to hear your thoughts for that and see if I'm the only one. No, definitely not. I probably didn't quite word what I meant last night in that, like, when I was watching the game and we were 2-0 down, I wasn't furious and fuming that, we've wasted the chance to go.
I've cut you off there, haven't I? Sorry. I thought I've lagged there. No, I genuinely, I was the same. My main thing with the top 2 is I just hope that we know that that's a thing.
Yeah, I think you said in the walk and talk that last night wasn't do or die, that if you lose the game, you're out of the competition. That I would obviously have felt very different then. But if we had have lost, the chance of top 2 would have been a shame to miss out on it. But if we have to play the second leg at home or away or whatever against a more difficult opposition or an easy opposition, Villa just need to win 5 or 6 games against whoever it is on whatever night, on whatever stadium it is in, on the day, do the job. Yeah. We will find a way to hopefully map that out on the way to the final. Fingers crossed. So, it's a bonus, and I absolutely am buzzing that we won the game and then got the top 2, because it is important, but I wouldn't have been, today's episode wouldn't have been Villa are a disgrace, they're this, they're that, because they finished 5th. Like, I'd have been, okay, let's get on with it.
No, but it would have just been an opportunity missed. But had we not won last night, I would also counter it with, firstly, we didn't play well. But we know that we've got some terrible injuries at the moment. This isn't a full strength side at the moment. I was happy to see Hemmings play. I wanted him to start. We had to make changes during the game as well. Anana was playing kind of first gear, kind of getting through it because we need him for the next games and beyond that. So, we didn't play well. But at the same time, we've got through it. And again, I think it's just another nice experience for us. We had it in Deventer where we lost because I don't think we respected Go Ahead Eagles as well as we probably should have. If you go 1-0 up there, you need to win the game. But since then, we've come sort of roaring back in the Europa League. And I expected us to, but I didn't think we'd win this amount of games. 7 out of 8, 21 points. Last season, top 2 was 19 points, Lazio and Bilbao. We would have got in the top 2 with 19 points as long as we scored more goals or had a better goal difference than Midtjylland. So us and Leon have set a really high bar, I think. I'm not sure many teams are going to get more than 21 points in a Europa League phase campaign. You're going to have to win 7 and draw 1 or stay unbeaten and win all of them. Yeah, of course. But that's
there can only be 21, 22 or 24 available, John.
Yeah, that would be a real task though for any team. Even us, I think if we were in it next season, I'd be saying 21 points is going to be really hard to hit again, whoever you play. So, we can be proud of what we've done so far in the Europa League. We just need to win it. Anything else, as I said before, is a failure.
We'll get on to transfers in a second. There's a few people in the comments. Scatty Matty and Andrew, was it earlier? Anyway, gone now. Too many coming in. Best Europa victory so far? Fenerbahce? Question mark. Let's wrap up the Europa League phase a little bit then. We won't be talking about Europe. Well, the matches at least until early March or mid-March. Fenerbahce away probably is the standout, isn't it, I think?
For me, it's Feyenoord.
Is it? Okay, fair. Yeah. That was a good one, actually.
Yeah, I mean, different sort of elements to it, but obviously, the stadium that we've won the European Cup in. But also, I think that in this part of the season that we were in, Fenerbahce was, getting over the line there was brilliant because of the injuries and everything that we had before, and losing to Everton, nice to get back to winning ways straight away there, and the atmosphere and everything that comes with that. But Feyenoord was at a point where that almost felt like a turning of the season. We beat Bologna, we beat Fulham, and then go to Feyenoord was like, we could now take another step back if they played to their level, Feyenoord, and they did for the first half. I'm talking too much about it now, but Feyenoord, probably actually one of my highlights covering Villa so far. That was a really nice experience to go there and win, especially.
Yeah, okay. All right. The next question is John Townley's evil twin brother, who says, if we are now done in the transfer window, would you be happy? Now, firstly, the window's still open. Villa may not be done. They may be. Who knows?
I don't think that's my brother because he's so bad at technology. I don't think he would operate an account on YouTube. yeah. Oh, it's just the mailbag.
It's the mailbag, yeah.
No chance. No. Google Docs. Oh,
don't tell people it's complicated, John. We'll never get any messages again. It's very easy. Link in the description. What was the question? Yeah. Are we done in the transfer window? So, a few more days left. We will be doing a transfer deadline day stream for those who've been watching the channel for a while, at least till August. We did this at the back end of the summer window on deadline day when Villa signed Harvey Elliott and Lindelof and whatnot. We did a 3-hour live stream, I think, and we're planning to do at least 2 hours this time, possibly 3 again, where we get on a couple of guests. I stay on and do a kind of roll on, roll off. Let's talk about the window. Now, if Villa aren't busy or are done in their business, it will be a kind of review of the window and answering some questions about the Brentford game or Bournemouth or whatever. If Villa are still active, then it'll be let's react to things as the evening unfolds. Yeah. If we were to be done now, John, and there were no further incomings and outgoings, I suppose, would you be a happy man?
I think there's always areas of the team that you want to improve in. For example, I want another right back.
I think we could sign 2 or 3, and I'd still probably think, well, you know what, I'm being greedy. There's still a little bit more.
No, exactly. Would I be satisfied?
I think you can answer this 2 ways.
Go on. You give your assessment. I'll tell you mine after.
Is this where you'll just agree with me or just shoot me down for being an idiot?
That's up to you, mate. It's completely up to you.
So I think the 2 ways you can answer this is with the club head on, right? Of we know how difficult the rules are, we know what the structure is like, and given the constraints of that, I think you can be reasonably happy that if we're done, okay, would we want more? Yeah, absolutely. But I think what we've done is, on paper, should be decent enough to get us over the line, I think. And I hope, obviously, as much as anything. I think as a fan, you always want a bit more. Like, that's natural.
Yeah. My dad made a good point. Well done, Dad. Earlier today, that without Tielemans in, and we didn't want Tielemans to get injured, or Kamara or McGinn, obviously, but without those injuries, maybe we don't bring Louise back.
No, I don't think so.
And come April, when Tielemans and McGinn are both back, and hopefully really are back, and we don't have any more issues, that's a very stacked midfield to go into the final stretch of the season, where you've got hopefully Europa League quarterfinals, semi-finals, final. Pushing into the top end of those 60 points, hopefully into 70s, around that stage as well. So we're going to have a very deep squad, I hope, when everyone gets back and we have no other problems. So that's definitely a positive. What I said at the start of the window is I think we'll leave it or end it in a better place. The injuries, however, have just completely skewed it. I don't think, how can we say that now? Because we're not having Tielemans for 8 to 10 weeks and McGinn for 6 to 8. Kamara for not the rest of the season. I know, but that's why it's hard to give an answer, because right now I look at the squad and I say, personnel-wise, if we're all fit, then brilliant. I think we're in a really strong position. But it's hard to do that, isn't it? It really is difficult.
Because I've had the narrative before at Villa Park and online as well of like, well, if we didn't have the rules, if we didn't have to sell Louise, if we don't want him to, if we didn't have to sell Bailey, blah, 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 if he was still on form, what a squad we'd have to choose from. And you're right, if everyone is fit come the end of the season, we're back to those levels, right? We've still got Louise if he's on form. We've still got Bailey if he's on form. And Tielemans, and Onana, and McGinn, Sancho. Who knows what happens with Harvey Elliott? Tammy, Holly Watkins, everybody is better than ever. Matty Cash better than ever. All of a sudden, if all of those players are available, that's a very good squad to end the season. So when we did our video in the week of, are we in the top 4 or is it just a title race or whatever, and got a bit of like, oh, you two are so negative. Firstly, by the way, I said we finished top 4. You said we were going to win the Europa League. Not quite sure what's negative about that, but there we go.
We've come a long way. A really long way.
Yeah, exactly. But if we are in a good position and we can get through these next 5 or 6 weeks with winnable games, with an injured squad, if we can get through that period and players start to come back, they should be fit, raring and ready to go for when we're at the business end. Like, it's kind of set up perfectly if we get through this next few weeks.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My only kind of feeling on it is less what who we've brought in. It's more who's gone, and that's Marlon after a year. It's Guessand after a very short time. Yeah, and that's worrying. Is it not? Garcia's barely kicked a ball this season. He joined. So the 5 players that we signed last January, obviously 3 were on loan. One of which we didn't buy in Rashford. The other, essentially, we also didn't buy because the money wasn't there for us to do it. Disasi, fair enough. But Garcia, it doesn't look like he has much of a future at Villa, if truth be told. Marlon's not here anymore. Guessand, I don't think will be here, or may have already played his last game for Villa. We'll wait and see. He was obviously a summer signing. Bizot was a good addition, absolutely.
And Lindelof
as well. Sancho and Elliott, different sort of situations, but again, probably not going to be here for much longer, or if at all, in fact, after the summer. So again, we have restrictions, we have difficulties that we are dealing with. So I kind of say that, and now, okay, Louise and Tammy, I'd like to think is here for a period of time. He knows the club. He's a goal scorer. If he fits well, I think that could be a very shrewd signing for the money that we've paid. If you're looking at Strand Larsen going for more than double, or that's his price, and he hasn't gone anywhere yet. But you know what I'm saying. Mateta as well, also a similar age. I know Mateta's a good player, but he's got some injury issues himself, I think. So I think Villa maybe done some shrewd business there with Tammy. We'll wait and see. And then Louise as well, possibly shrewd if he can recapture his form at Villa. And again, it's all ifs and buts really at the moment. So it's hard to kind of give a definitive answer. And that's why I just go back to, well, where the easy thing to do is where are Villa at the end of the window? But we've got Kamara out for the season. But so it's really difficult to kind of give a pure assessment. What I would say is that with the struggles that we've had and teams knowing that we are without midfielders, I think we could have done worse. I put it that way. And I'm also excited for Alisson as well. Let's see what he can do. That's a player who Emery's... Well, yeah, Emery's mentioned a couple of times now. Mentioned him sort of in those sort of conversations of a player who's available for, not literally available, but available this season. So it appears that he'll be staying. When he comes back, let's wait and see. But so far hasn't quite managed to be fit enough. He has just come off a long season with Grêmio. I would kind of counter that. The Brazilian league finished in December. That's his first full campaign in professional football, essentially. So we've got to be patient with him in all sorts of ways, really.
Yeah. I don't know whether you'll know the answer to this, and we're on the spot because we're live, but we spoke about Douglas Luiz being cup tied in the FA Cup on Wednesday's transfer show, the Claret and Brew that we did in the week. Matt was asking, can he play in the Europa League because he's already played for Forest, and can he play in the FA Cup because he played for Forest against Wrexham? And we said in that we believed he would still be cup tied. We knew at the time that the rule had changed in the Carabao Cup, because obviously Semenyo, a really famous example of playing for Man City against Newcastle, was it? And then being disgruntled about that. And a few suggestions we had off the back of that video was the rules changed for the FA Cup as well. Have you gone away to fact check that?
No.
Okay,
no. Yeah, mate. I hate to say it, but no, I haven't.
You would think if they changed one competition, they'd change both, surely.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I did see somewhere that those rules had changed. I hadn't looked at it just because we're not playing the FA Cup for another few weeks. But
if you can play, obviously that's a huge bonus, because you just think it's cup tie has always been a thing, right?
Yeah,
well,
no,
not always, but you know. Yeah,
what I mean. It's a bonus. Again, I'm not going to get into the FA Cup right now, but I will focus on the FA Cup after Newcastle. I think that's when I start to look at it a bit more purposefully. Yeah. But yeah, for now, I haven't fact checked that. It seems to be the suggestion that is the case. So that would obviously be a bonus.
Yeah, okay. Matt Kendrick's B-Day, don't ask, says, lads, with the bittersweet win over Salzburg securing the round of 16, but potentially costing us Ollie Watkins, does the permanent signing of Tammy Abraham now look like the most critical bit of business we've done this year? Given Tammy knows the club and the league, do you throw him straight in against Brentford? Oh no, Brentford preview. Oh, save that. Or we need to tweak the system to accommodate him to compare to how Ollie presses?
Are we allowed to talk about this?
Don't talk about the Brentford bit. No, that's one of my questions for the other video. I've got it in the wrong section. Right. Mainly on the injury bit, the update for Watkins. Okay. But it's not that bad, right?
Well, yeah. Well, Emery in his presser last night. You can always. I mean, I always move my microphones out, headphones even. When you read quotes, black and white from Emery, I always read it back and think, like, I hope people don't take this the wrong way, or I hope it's not kind of misconstrued. I'm not saying the Watkins way, but you can tell a lot from Emery's body language, basically, and his kind of persona. And he seemed pretty confident that there was no issue really with Watkins. I think it was more of a precaution than anything. It is a bit of a concern that he was feeling is around his hamstring area. There was no confirmation on that from Unai, and today he was asked about it as well. Us written reporters weren't allowed in the press conference today. It's always the case for European games, home or away. I don't know why we can't go in for the home games. Doesn't make sense to me. I wish we could, because there's lots to go at the moment.
Yeah.
But he was asked about injuries and mentioned that Watkins, it's not any, like, he basically said it's not like a real injury. So I think it's just he felt something, but he's had scans, nothing's really come up. So I'd expect him to be in the squad for Brentford.
At the very worst, you think maybe he misses Brentford and he's back for next weekend. Surely, that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah, they're going to train tomorrow at 2 p.m. Emery says, I'm not telling information I'm not supposed to. And then we'll see then, or they'll see then how he feels and if he's in any discomfort. But yeah, hopefully he's in the squad, and if he's okay to play, I would absolutely start him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll come back to that tomorrow.
Sorry, I've given a That's a teaser. More tomorrow.
Patty the pessimist asks, with the recent injury news, do you think there's a possibility we have a similar downfall that Nottingham Forest had last season? They were sitting in third on a higher points total at this point in the season and then fell away out of the Champions League places.
Not for me.
No, not for me either.
No,
I don't think not. This is awkward, isn't it? I don't ever think Nottingham Forest were that good. Is that stupid?
No, that's. I think though. No, I know what you're trying to say.
They won a lot of games, but like that, they were never like, oh, they're going to be up around the elite for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, well, I don't watch Forest, and I always say don't listen to people who don't watch those teams play very often. But we've been asked the question. In my view, Forest have been a team who've essentially been found out a little bit. They were exceptional under Nuno, weren't they? Playing a certain way. They lost the Langer, which was a large part of what or how they got success last season. And Chris Wood had the season of his life. Lots of different reasons. We are not built on those foundations. We're built on much stronger foundations, which Forest fans, I think, will accept that is true. Yeah. We've been the 4th best team. Might even be pushing the 3rd best team if we continue as we go in this season. Since Unai Emery took over, Forest have reverted back to where they were before last season. So yeah, we've shown that we can deal with European campaigns last season, the season before that, and this season as well. We've won all. I don't think I've ever brought this up on the podcast, but if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen it. I can't remember what it was now. 11. I'm pretty certain it's. I don't think it's 12 yet. 11 games in a row we've won after European games in the Premier League. That makes sense. So Newcastle was the 11th, I think, and that was the big one. Firstly coming after Fenerbahce, but then Newcastle away, and we did it. So yeah, 11 out of 11, that's quite incredible, to be fair.
Yeah, and famously after the Champions League games last season, it was that we couldn't win after those European weeks, and it was
all changed.
Yeah. Okay, all right, let's move on to John Townley's Marmalade. Tammy Abraham, Douglas Luiz, and Leon Bailey, out of the 3 who have all come back to the club, if you had to hedge your bets of who could return to their peak Villa performance, who out of the 3 would you choose? Interested in your thoughts. I think Tammy will do good things, but a different player to what we saw in the Championship. Yeah. But I genuinely believe Luiz could return very close to his best. I'm intrigued by Luiz the most, I think, because he's not had a good time since leaving Villa. And I think there would be some people that put that down to that maybe he's past it a bit, like he's just actually not that good. I think he might just be completely re-energised by being back at Villa. And
I hope so.
Find something within himself that, I am actually brilliant. Let's go for it.
Well, one major plus for bringing those players in, there's a few, but one of them is that they've all got a point to prove for different reasons. Yeah. Leon Bailey's absolutely a point to prove. Luiz, probably the biggest point to prove. And then Tammy coming back to England. I mentioned before that I felt like when he left the Premier League, he actually scored quite a lot of goals for Chelsea. 14 or 15 in one season. I think it was 8 in another, which isn't so bad for a player who doesn't start a lot of games for them back then. And kind of just left the country and was almost forgotten about a little bit, and went to Roma and did okay. And then he's coming back. I feel like this is now an opportunity for him to show what he's got. And he knows knows the club. I hate saying that, but he knows the environment. He knows a lot of the dressing room is going to fit in really quickly. It's just, can he adapt to Unai? Bailey and Luiz have got that on him. The difficulty is that we let Bailey go for a reason. Luiz, we let go for a different reason, but at the same time, we know that equally it wasn't so. No one. How do I put this? You mentioned it the other day as well, Dan. I did a video with Matt that it wasn't a case of us being devastated to have lost Luiz. We had a replacement in Tielemans already. We've improved in that position since Luiz has left, but now he's come back. It's almost like a fresh start for him. You know how good you had it here. Whether you like to do your individual training sessions for 2 hours or whatever it is, doing your clips, you better love it now, because you know how good you can be when you are concentrating and
when you lock in.
Yeah, literally that. Yeah, we need him to lock in now, and when he is locked in, and he has a bit of freedom to play as well, which he had when Kamara was next to him, and now it'll be Onana or Bogard. That
feels better, doesn't it? I think if Onana was also missing and Luiz was asked to do the defensive side of it, really, to be Onana or be Kamara, that's where we saw him struggle when Kamara
had
there.
His ACL, because he had the ACL, didn't he, after that Man United game in February? Horrible game. I can see McTominay scoring that header now. And Luiz after that his form did tail off a little bit. But I was looking back actually at the seasons he's had at Villa, just very basic stats. He scored quite a lot of goals for us in that one season. Yeah. There was a stat that was going around at the time that he scored in like 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 consecutive home games, which is ridiculous for a midfielder who gets forward but had his responsibilities as well defensively. So no, looking forward to seeing all of them. But I think especially Louise and Tammy. I can't really separate it, but yeah. I think Louise is probably the one that I know Ollie's just had a bit of an injury, but hopefully we'll be okay. Louise, however, I think is the one that we think we really need you to be good straight away. Because if you are, that's that problem fixed almost. Whereas Tammy it's his backup, it is support, it's competition.
Yeah, 100% agree. Yeah. Let's do the Harvey Elliott section then. Luke says, "Gentlemen, I hope you're well." It's quite a long one. Friday morning, and I'm avoiding work by pondering the Harvey Elliott situation. Perhaps by the time the next mailbag comes round, this will be out of date. Well, it isn't, because the mailbag's here now, and Harvey Elliott is also still here.
24/7 mailbag.
If we have an obligation on Elliott for 30-35 million, depending on sources, and with Guessand a strong shout to go to Palace with an option or obligation, is there not a strong argument to just play Harvey Elliott for the rest of the season? I hear a lot of people say he doesn't fit the Emery system, but considering he hasn't played in months, I saw some promising signs against Salzburg in the second half. He's young, English, and clearly has talent, and technically looks very good. Even if we decide in the summer that he's not for us, we would easily recoup the vast majority, if not all, of the outlay on him. And that's just the Guessand money, to be honest. Yeah. I saw enough in that game to be more convinced of Elliott than I think we've all been of Guessand. And although, as Neil Dunworth rightly points out, Guessand is a 9, not a right winger. Long-winded, I know. Apologies. Cheers, lads. Up the Villa. I don't know. Me and Matt spoke a little bit about Harvey.
You can't read that long question and say, I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. We spoke about him a little bit last night, that you kind of think, Emery said in his pre-match presser that nothing's changed. And then he starts and you think, oh, okay.
Said the same in his post-match.
Then he said the same in the post-match. And you think, just when you think maybe something's going to be different, it isn't.
Can I just break it up there? Guessand's joined Palace on loan now.
Oh, is that confirmed?
Yeah, that's confirmed, yeah.
Okay. Is that option or obligation?
I just need to message some people. Hold on.
Right.
I'll come back in a sec.
Okay, I'll keep watching.
I'm going to stay here, but yeah.
Yeah, please don't go. Yeah, that'd be really awkward. Everyone now is just refreshing Crystal Palace Twitter or website, I assume. We spoke about it a little bit, and I don't know, because if we can do what we've done with Guessand, and he does leave permanently in the summer for pretty much what we paid for him, I'll be honest, I think that's incredible business. It's a terrible mistake and shouldn't have happened in the first place. But if we spend 30 on him and get 28 back, sound. Treat it as a 2 million 6-month loan. Didn't work out. Oh, well. It's not really cost us anything. From a PSR perspective, we've spent some money. That'll be, over many years of contract or however that works. We get some money in, sound. Like, it's probably done us no harm whatsoever. Mm-hmm. If you could do the same with Harvey Elliott, try him out for the next 6 months because we're desperate, and you feel like it doesn't work out, or he doesn't fit the system, but we need him for 15 games, and that will trigger it. And it costs us 35 million. I'm kind to agree. I feel like there probably would be somewhere out there that probably would spend 30 odd on him, and we get most of that money back. But then I feel like if Villa, that won't be a bold idea that Villa haven't thought of. So surely if they also felt the same, they would have just been playing him all this time anyway. But I feel like because we've got so far along with the injury options and stuff, it's kind of like, do you just bite the bullet with Elliott and play him, use him? Because I think I said last night, match fit Harvey Elliott, I think probably scores a brace last night and is actually genuinely useful. I think he did okay, but a sharper Elliott would have done much better. If he's an option that helps us get into the Champions League or wins a trophy this season, and then we still think, he's good, but he's not what we really want. Somebody like an Everton might, probably a terrible example actually, a club that's like mid-table punching upwards might think, we can kind of make Harvey Elliott a bit of a star man. Someone like Palace, to be honest, that was Adam Wharton, you get Harvey Elliott in for half the price, and it's like, okay, that's probably okay. I just feel like is that even an option? Or is this all kind of wasted breath because the clause might change in January and deadline day will come and go and things might change anyway?
Yeah. Sorry for those who are watching and I've just completely blanked out there. And to you, Dan, I've caught most of what you're saying.
It's all waffle anyway, don't worry about it.
No. I understand what you're saying. Firstly, I'm trying to just firm up if there is the obligation there. But that is often something which won't be disclosed by anyone. until maybe a later date. But of course, there's been suggestions of it. I think if we can get anywhere near the money that we spent on Guessand, it would be a minor miracle, to be honest. And I don't mean that in an offensive way. We've seen very little from him. And I think you can talk about what he did in Nice, but from the 6 months or so that we've seen of him at Villa, that's not a £30 million player. It's not. And that's a bit concerning because it's poor recruitment to bring in a player for quite a sizable amount of money for Villa anyway, and it not work. He has scored twice, of course. There's some players who haven't scored twice for Villa, and it haven't been as good as Guessand, to be frank. But again, at 30 million quid, we can't really be making these mistakes. I think if we can recoup that money or near enough to it, what we've paid for him so far, that would be we kind of got away with one, possibly. Whether he plays better for Crystal Palace or not, let's find out. And we can talk about, but he's not a right winger, he's a striker. Well, we shouldn't have signed him then, because clearly Unai didn't think that he was going to ever play as a striker. I don't think we have seen him play up front once, even in pre-season. Saw him play on the left in pre-season, played against Brentford on the left in pre-season. In the season. And he's probably
played off the striker, didn't he, in one of the games?
Did he?
During the game, I think he moved into that position.
Yeah, but clearly Unai had not planned for him to be doing that any sort of consistency. He gave him a chance, Unai, as well. So good luck to him. Good luck to Guessand. It's not easy. It's not his fault that he was signed for big money. And played out of position. So I'm not putting any blame on him. It's just simply we needed to see a bit more from him, and for different reasons didn't work out. Good luck to the player, and good luck to Villa and hopefully getting that money back.
Yeah. For the clause or the option to buy or the obligation or whatever it is, me and Kendrick were joking last night about, is he just got to beat a man and that'll be the option? What would you speculate it could be? Is it like 10 games like Elliott?
Usually it is an appearance-based thing. Obviously, that can be different from player to player and involve other sort of measurements as such. But that's usually the way. It's the most accurate way. Because if it's goals, for example, and then, I don't know, he might score a fluky hat-trick in one game. Do you know what I mean? And that contributes to them. So, usually is appearance-based, or maybe starts, possibly as well.
Yeah, okay. That was a long question. Let's find something different. I feel like there's probably a knock-on effect for the Guessand departure too. Would that bring anybody else in? I don't think there's a specific question about it. I think Bailey is already his replacement.
Yeah, and I think Alisson as well is obviously here too. Emery again keeps mentioning him. The answer that he gave in today's press conference, again, it would have been nice to sort of push him on it if we were there. But what he said to the broadcast was that Villa have got their squad essentially, and that he doesn't expect any surprises in the final days of the window. So it appears, at least from the outside, in terms of what Unai's saying, and usually he does tell the truth in these things, that he's pretty set. And if there's an opportunity, of course, Villa will have to look at it. But I don't think right now they're thinking, okay, we need to bring in this player. If it's the right cost, the right opportunity, the right everything aligns, then they'll try and do it. But I don't think that they're now searching and scrambling around thinking, right, we need a right winger to come in. Again, they might if it presents itself. And that's the same for any position, essentially. Do we need one? I think we do, to be honest. I think to be relying on Bailey, who is a player who, again, we cast aside, it's another opportunity for him, but it's his fitness more than anything else that worries me. No one would be surprised if in the next week he's sidelined for a period of games, and that's just being honest. And it's the same for most players, to be fair, but especially Bailey, who really had a hard time of it in Rome. So I think we probably are a little bit short on that side. But I guess when McGinn comes back in a few weeks, you're a bit stronger.
Sancho, Bailey, Alisson, if he gets fit.
None of them, apart from McGinn, but none of them scream at me like, okay, like that's. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Every game we'll look at that right position. It's not El Ghazi Trezeguet kind of territory, but it is which one should we play?
A million miles off, yeah.
Yeah, but which one should we play? No one screams out the page where it's Rodgers. Okay, Rodgers, and it's, to be fair to Buendia, sometimes it is now Buendia, but it's usually McGinn, it's Watkins, it's set positions. It was Bailey 2 seasons ago. That's the position that you want to be in, right? You don't want to be thinking maybe Sancho because of this, but then there's that. No, you want you want your team sheet set for most of your games and have depth underneath it. So I don't think we quite have that on the right side. Definitely a position I'd like to see strengthen in the summer, but hey, let's wait on Alisson, see if he's got anything to show us in the final few months of the season.
You're right that he keeps talking about him, and he was obviously, on periphery of being in the squad for the Tottenham game, and then obviously wasn't, but still travelled and stuff. Whereas I think Maggio's situation is probably slightly different.
Yeah, he's just a youngster.
There's a comment from Kevin in the live chat about Jimo Aloba going on loan to Baggies, just when we were all excited for the kid. I actually quite like that, whether it's Albion or otherwise. It sounds stupid because he's just come on in an important game and scored the winner, but I wonder how many opportunities Jimo Aloba gets for the rest of Villa's season from here on out. It's not going to be starts. It's going to be fleeting 15, 20-minute cameos at most. And as the deeper we get into competitions, the less likely that probably is. I would rather him go and play 20 games for Albion or Middlesbrough or whoever and get game time. That's a cliche, but get game time against proper physical men in the Championship and kind of toughen him up a bit. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, Championship loan, West Brom. From memory, I can't recall them. I mean, we've sent a few players there down in the last few years. I mean, we've bought obviously a few players from quite a lot of young players from them. Illing Jr. is not having the best time of it at the moment at West Brom. Jimo Aloba is not too dissimilar in terms of position, so that seems like a bit of an overlap. I don't know if that's ideal, but obviously Jimo Aloba come from West Brom's academy. He doesn't have to relocate as such. It's so in terms of a youngster going out on loan to a different club, it's probably as safe as you can get it in terms of an environment and how he feels about it. However, I would say that sometimes getting out and being out of your comfort zone is probably the best thing that you can do. And we've seen some players go out on loan and really not pull up any trees and on the face of it struggle. But that's good sometimes. That's exactly what you need. It doesn't have to be Jack Grealish tearing it up at Notts County or Jacob Ramsey playing well for Doncaster. Sometimes it can be done in another way. But yeah, it's a good move for him at West Brom. Obviously a rival for us. But for your first low move, having just scored at Villa Park and everything that came with that game, and then you go back to the club that you kind of came through, and you're playing for them in the Championship for the rest of the season. It's not a bad move for him at all.
Yeah,
hopefully it works out.
Okay, Nervous Mike says, I really think Unai might go at the end of the season, especially if we win the Europa League.
I'm glad he started with Nervous Mike and not Confident Mike.
People generally don't turn down the chance to work at Real Madrid, whether he has full control of the club or not. So we spoke about this a little bit last night on the post-match, me and Kendrick. Actually gave it a bit more airtime than I would like to, and I feel the same way tonight. I don't want to talk about this for the next 15 minutes, partly because we need to record another episode after this. But John, can I just get your kind of 60-second, 2-minute take on the Madrid-Emery links and what you kind of feel about the situation?
Yeah. So after the game, Emery was asked about it in the context of, you're through again in Europe and you're obviously going really well, but because of everything, otherwise, do you think you can achieve everything that you want to achieve at Villa? Because there's been, speculation with Real Madrid and whatnot. And then Emery kind of, as soon as Madrid was mentioned, he started sort of like shaking his head a little bit and sort of put his head down and was like, you could tell okay, he doesn't want to kind of go down that route. And just said nothing I don't want to, nothing to say about it basically. And that was that. So yeah, obviously I saw the reports yesterday morning. I'm a massive Real Madrid fan for the rest of the season. Let's say that. I think we all are. No, but listen, the one thing I always say about this is that, and I think you mentioned on the post-match last night, Emery has nothing to prove in Spain or to Spanish people within Spanish football or even European football, to be fair. It was only in England that he had this sort of people thought, he's still got something to prove, and to be fair, he did in England as well, and Jesus, he's definitely done that. Listen, we will see what happens. You can't predict anything in football, but we all know, and I'm not going to go into it now because we don't need to spend time on it, there's a moat around Unai Emery. Like, the guy has got everything you can possibly want. And if he wants more, right, here's more. He has everything but the freedom to spend the money that Sawiris wants to spend. And again, I've said it before, there is something also in that isn't as kind of glitzy and glamorous as what it may seem. It doesn't mean that you can buy all the players that you want to buy, because if you go to another club, Unai, Does that rhyme? There will be sporting directors, maybe 3 or 4 of them in a boardroom, telling you which players you should buy and which ones you shouldn't buy. Unai doesn't want to be involved in that. He just wants to be coaching players, improving players. His success in his career has come at clubs like ours who are punching above and trying to break the glass ceiling, and we're absolutely doing that. We can talk about all the rules and everything that kind of goes against us. We're making fun of it. Let's be honest. We've got a great chance of winning a European trophy this season, finishing possibly second. We're going extremely well with all the injuries we're having. I would wager that even if we had money to spend, we would still be in a pretty similar position to this. I don't think we would be 10 points ahead of Arsenal. I think it would be about where we are. Our squad is worth a lot of money because of Unai Emery. I don't know how to explain this, but I just feel like we're in... Our position is, it's frustrating, but we're also going really well, and we have a lot going for us as well. And Emery said it himself, we have our own power, and that's not something that he would easily give up on. Absolutely not. Even for those kind of powerhouse clubs. Would it be of interest to anybody, literally anybody? I'm not even naming it, anyone. Yes, of course it would be. But it's a whole other thing, actually, when it comes to it. Do you know what I mean? So right now, the full focus is winning something with Aston Villa, is to give everything that we've got in the last parts of the season. And then from whatever happens after that, literally haven't got a clue. Again, but we can caveat with, we know what he has at Villa, and it's something that he can't get anywhere else. And he knows that.
He wouldn't leave for a smaller club anyway, would he? Right, let's move on. Yeah, let's move on. There's a couple of questions that were from last week's Q&A that we ran out of time for, and I said I'd push them back if I could. So we're going to do a couple. Matty says, if we were to win the Europa League and finish top 4, how would PSR be looking for next season? I see now SCR is down towards 70%, and last season was our most profitable season ever. So, theory would be you would have a great year, right, if you won something and got top 4 again.
We could win the World Cup twice.
It doesn't change a fat deal, does it? Obviously, the better success we have, the better it is, but it's still difficult.
The Champions League that's money. We know that. Yeah. 70 million quid or something. It's a lot of money that would be pushed into our accounts, and that 70% that went round, was it last week or the week before? It was Deloitte's Money League, and it looked much better. And it was like, oh wow, like we've cut it right down. But that's with Champions League money. We don't have that, of course, this year. Next year, hopefully, we do. But it just fluctuates for me.
I think we have to at least be doing this, though, because all the off-the-pitch stuff, the sponsorships and the hospitality, if you're at least Europa League, Champions League, you're always around it, you are going to get better deals and stuff. So
yeah, no, of course.
That's
but Villa are still a long way away from the commercial 6 clubs that dominate that sphere. So, said it previously, and it was kind of a harsh reality, is simply you have to raise your revenue sustainably and consistently. Villa being in the Champions League every season would help them. Being in the Champions League every season is bloody difficult as well, as we know. And don't want to say it's just after the question we've had, but let's just say in 5 years Emery is no longer here, and we have 5 years of Champions League, and we win the Champions League or whatever, all these different times, and it's the best thing ever. Even after that, are our revenue is going to be as high as the big 6? I'd hope so, but I don't know. I just think it's such a big task, and I don't want to be talking about it, but that is unfortunately the reality of it. We can win what we like, but every single season, you don't want to be relying on your sporting success. It has to be, you have to have a platform, right? Yeah, Spurs, not a very good football team. Man United are a bit better now, but their revenues are far and away bigger than ours. And we've been a much better football team than them for 3 years. And hopefully for the next 3 years, yet our revenues will probably still not be as big as theirs. But it's okay. This is what it is. It's a frustrating one, but we are competing well. It would be more annoying, I think, if we weren't able to compete on the pitch and we were seeing these commercial 6 clubs just run away with it every single year. That's not the case. Spurs are, for 2 seasons now, been in nearly a relegation battle twice. So, yeah, we could do more, but we can't, right? That's kind of the feeling.
Yeah. Okay, Matt says, I don't know whether you'll know the answer to this, but I said I'd ask it anyway. What are your thoughts on the El Gouna Red Sea? El Gouna? I've actually heard it being read out loud. Yeah. Especially as the town was developed by Oruscom and founded by Nassef's brother. Is it a sign that the club will use their connections to get a bigger, more lucrative front of shirt sponsor? to help us commercially next season. Obviously, we all know that it'll be the end of Patano as the rules change on gambling companies, so there will be a change. But it kind of bleeds into the last question. Whatever deal it is and whoever it is with, Villa have to make these deals bigger and better every season or every new renewal of a deal.
Yeah, I like the logo of El Gauna on Guina. It's a nice logo. Have you seen it? It's like a little. It's like a little starfish thing, isn't it? Is it?
I've not paid that much attention to it. I would take your word for it. Yeah.
That's the main thing, to be fair.
Yeah, well, I've not thought like, is it a starfish or is it?
I think it is. I don't know, but it looks nice.
Maybe just Google that.
Yeah, I haven't got much to say about it apart from who asked the question? Is it a funny name or is it a normal name? Matt. That's a normal name. Yeah, Matt makes a good point. It's obviously related to our owners, which kind of you can cross that connection yourselves. It's something which the club need to be doing more of, and as I mentioned revenue earlier, there's a big task there to get the front of shirt sponsor. Other deals need to be renewed as well. So Francesco Calvo's got a big job. He's one of the most important people at the club for sure, because as I say, we could be doing everything we can on the pitch and winning every game. We can't sign the players that we want to sign or to the level we'd like to sign them unless Francesco and his team increase revenues. And even then, it's not completely up to them. Yeah. They're just there to try and help it along.
Yeah, it was a starfish, by the way. I was thinking of something very different. Yeah,
looks good.
Holly says, "Where's the cat?" That's what we all need to know. Is the cat in the room? Is the cat in the room with us?
My partner shut the door, so the cat didn't. We had a cat break into the house yesterday, though.
Did you?
Mental, yeah. So we have a cat flap.
Cat burglar.
Yeah. That's what my dad said, and I didn't laugh then. I shouldn't have laughed then. He comes in, and I wasn't here. I was obviously, I stayed at my parents' house last night after the game. Anyway, 2 a.m, and there's a cat like shrieking downstairs, like, trying to get out, like petrified, thinking what's going on. Not our cat, another cat. Long story short,
I keep going.
It's got through the cat flap, we've figured out, and we lock the cat flap, right? And apparently, there's a way to lock it that the cat can get in and then can't get back out. So if you're, I don't know, out and you need it to come in but not go back out, that's there. That's the feature. So we've now figured out how to lock it both ways. So the cat's got in at 2 a.m, probably had some of our cat's food, and then tried to get out and couldn't.
Outrageous.
So it's hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Are you glad you asked that, Holly? Is everyone glad for the last 60 seconds? That was the best bit, actually. Right, final question for this one before we wrap up from Joseph. I previously sent in a question asking what Buendia had to do to get recognition of how good he is, and I said he was one of the most naturally talented players I've seen play for Villa. Do you remember this, John?
Yeah. Where's he going?
I feel now I was being a little harsh. I've been watching since the late 90s.
Harsh?
And the only player I think that is more naturally talented is Grealish, as Buendia has now overtaken the likes of Merson. Question is, how much does Buendia have to do to be considered better than Grealish? Grealish's best season was 18 goal contributions. Buendia is on 11. I don't know. Has he scored or assisted since this was sent in? I don't know. Anyway, he's on 11 when this was sent in. So you'd expect him to surpass Grealish's best ever season for us. Thoughts, John?
Sorry. No,
so I do remember this question, and I kind of was like, "Well, you're crazy." Like, surely not. No, so I don't want to be the bad guy here.
But just not for me. I think you can talk about different things. For example, I can say Adama Traore is the fastest Villa player I've ever seen, but that doesn't make him the best player or the one that's most suited to. Though. Yeah, but sorry, who asked the question?
Joseph
saying the most technically gifted, was it?
Most naturally talented player.
Talented player. No, because I've seen Coutinho. And if he's more naturally talented than Buendia. Asensio, I think, is more naturally talented. I think Rashford's probably more. So not to kill your point, Joseph, but in my opinion, no. Buendia has a lot of talent.
I think what is given back to us, specifically me, because I was anti-Buendia in the summer, was that like this is just an opportunity for me to stick the boot in that I don't rate Buendia. I also think he's talented, but I don't think he's
sure.
You know what? I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Forget it.
Go on. I won't talk.
I think Buendia's decent. Full stop.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think Buendia's
no more than that. I think he's a good squad player for where we're at.
Yeah, and that is brilliant. And he's had a fantastic season. But I have nothing really more to say. Yeah.
I think he could. This is where the argument of how you judge a footballer is also different. And this, by the way, Joseph, if you're listening, going, "Oh, I've sent 2 questions in here and I've just got slagged off twice." That is not the intention at all. I'm genuinely taking this seriously. But if Buendia gets 19 goal contributions and beats Grealish's best ever season, I still think Grealish is a better player.
Oh
overall.
no, of course, Jack.
It's not
Grealish
about just the
Jack Grealish
numbers.
is Jack Grealish, and with respect to Buendia, it's a different.
Buendia would not be sold for 100 million.
No, he wouldn't.
Morgan Rogers and Grealish that's a more valid comparison for me of like who's actually a better.
No, but when I feel like Joseph's trying to big Buendia, and that's fine.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, sound.
It's going the other way where we're almost having to bring him down, which makes us sound bad. So we don't want to be giving negative Buendia prop. If Joseph can start back, if Joseph
absolutely
can backpedal,
everyone should get this level of support, really.
Yeah.
We were slagging Buendia, Guessand off last night.
Yeah, if he goes back on his word and starts saying he's a bit better than Dan Drinkwater, then we can say, no, Buendia is great. He's much better than that. I think that's when you're going to get your Buendia propaganda from us, but not quite on this one.
No, okay. All right, fine. That's all the questions I had for this one that aren't Brentford specific. We're going to go and do a separate Brentford show that will come out tomorrow because we've done 50 minutes of non-match day related content. So plenty of transfer chat, a bit about Unai and Madrid and other bits and pieces as well. So hopefully you enjoyed that, those who tuned in live. 2,000 people watching, a lot of those coming from your Twitter, John. Hello, Twitter, again. Thanks for joining us. We are the Claret and Blue podcast, by the way, if you've got no idea what this is. We're available on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts and wherever you listen to podcasts. We do plenty of episodes per week. And for everyone who normally listens to the podcast, you think, yeah, no shit, like I've listened to loads of episodes. I know what you are. That was enjoyable. Lots of good stuff in there. Did you have fun, John?
Yeah, I had fun, yeah definitely. We always have fun.
Don't big it up too much, John. We'll be back at some point tomorrow, probably around lunchtime, to discuss the Brentford game and then the post-match show on Sunday evening as well. So thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Claret Blue podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.